Ronnie, technical. Okay, here we go. Are you serious? Are you serious? Guys, this might be one of the most important programs that we've ever broadcasted because of the American National Healthcare Emergency. And there you go, they're already calling me. I'm already getting called by the alphabet soup agencies, okay? So I'll be very careful here, but there's no doubt about this. The National American Health Care Emergency. You know what? There's so many diabetics out there in this country, and your number one drug you take is metformin. It is being recalled. It is contaminated. I'm not saying yours specifically is, because there's some genetic brands. I mean, sorry if I'm having a little problem here, but I'm fine. There is off brands that they use, but guys, this is huge. Type 2 diabetes, if you're on metformin, you need to call your doctor immediately and ask, is it safe for me to take this? Now, what we're going to do, we're bringing on Ronnie McMullen right now from GetTheT.com, and the coronavirus, as a matter of fact, just right here in West Lafayette, Indiana, just this morning, the mayor of this city made it mandatory that all citizens of West Lafayette, Indiana must wear a mask, and it's a $100 fine if you're spotted without one on. And then it's a misdemeanor if you're caught a second time. So, and I just found out about it. I started to go into a convenience store, a big sign on it says, don't come in if you don't have a mask, it's against the law. So I said, what's going on? My son told me about it, and this is a local mayor. So what does this mean? Let's bring in Ronnie. Ronnie McMullen from GetTheT.com. Ronnie McMullen, GetTheT.com. We're in a national emergency, aren't we, Ronnie?
Yeah, we are. Yeah, and commenting on your wearing a mask, your mayor, if we go into a business, it doesn't matter what that business is, if they say wear a mask, we have to, because that's private property. But if they make you wear a mask walking down the street and it's not private property, you could have a little bit of a legal battle there.
Oh, that's a good point. It's a very good point. And this mayor really shook up the businesses, because every business now has this big sign, and it's almost like, warning, So, yeah, I don't know what the legal battles will be on the public property, but certainly the private property is responding to the mayor of West Lafayette, Indiana. Ronnie?
What if that person has asthma? What if they have trouble breathing and they're told to wear a mask? So there's a lot of stuff here that if it goes far enough, it could be big trouble.
These are the casualties. I think now they're starting to decide the casualties of the virus. And when you talk about coronavirus, you got to be talking about the economy, the casualties of the economy. Businesses are folding up, bankruptcies are breaking records, and a lot of mom and pop people are going down. Now you got metformin, okay? Contaminated metformin. I sent you the article. You read it. I've read it 3 times. I can't figure out why it's contaminated. They won't tell me what it's contaminated with. And Ronnie, am I right? They're saying go ahead and take it, but call your doctor as you're taking it?
Yeah. This is contaminated, but don't stop taking it until you talk to your doctor. And they won't tell you what it's contaminated with, so then you're to assume, which is always a scary word, to assume that it's totally fine. The stuff that's in here making everything bad is not that bad. I guess it's like the rat poison that goes in Diet Coke. So it's the same kind of idea. Just a little bit won't hurt anybody. Maybe that's how they're thinking. But to me, when metformin is got problems going on, they should be pulling it just like they would bad meat with E. coli.
Yeah, but you see, this is the cash cow. This is the sacred cow of the American health organizations. I mean, this is it. Diabetes is probably the number one illness that brings upon death on people, whether it be strokes and heart attacks and all kinds of other problems. And this is the cash cow, isn't it? Metformin, this is the cash cow.
Metformin, to defend metformin a little bit, it is really not, out of all the drugs that are being made, that's probably one of the better drugs. The fact that it's contaminated makes it not a better drug. The fact that they won't tell you what it's contaminated with makes it not a better drug. So calling your doctor, and the doctor, it's not like he's just waiting for your phone call. Even if you could just call and talk to the doctor, he's not just waiting for your phone call, because he's overrun with coronavirus. He's overrun with people think they have coronavirus. He's overrun with people that are in fear and having heart attacks and stress and all of this. So that local doctor is probably not going to be answering that phone anytime soon. So then you have to ask the question, how bad is the contamination in metformin? How bad is it? And this would be people, metformin is one of the reasons it's a cash cow, is because people don't, it's not like you use it 2 or 3 months and then you go, okay, I've got normal blood sugar, everything's good. It doesn't work like that. You stop taking it, your blood sugar goes up. So with that case being intact, if it's contaminated, is it poisonous that it's contamination? Is it just the wrong strength? It is time released, I do know that. And there's a lot of problems with time release stuff, so maybe there's something there. But to continue taking it, and of course I understand why they're saying that, because if you're taking metformin, it's because your blood sugar is high. And if your blood sugar is high, it can do nasty things to the body. So, and they give you all the fear porn, and they can with, what it does to your body, blah, 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 blah. So you just kind of go, oh my God, this is terrible. So it got you kind of at a draw on this one. Do you take the contamination, or do you take the high blood sugars?
And of course, the other problem we got is millions and millions of Americans are on metformin, but it's being produced in China. And we don't know what it's in it. They won't tell us what the contamination is, and you can't pull all the metformin off the shelf. You would have a major national emergency bigger than coronavirus. I mean, but what do you do why did we sell our soul to the Chinese and have all of our drugs being made in China? Well, first of all, why did we decide to push the drugs in the first place instead of healthy living? I mean, look what they've done to the GMO, to the food. This is a vicious cycle. We're in emergency now, aren't we, Ronnie?
Yeah, this is not good. And why we have our drugs made in China, this is not us. This is the pharmaceutical companies, because they work for 17 cents an hour, 40 cents on a big day. So I don't know about anybody here in the United States that would work for 40 cents per hour. So it's slave labor. And China is not as bad as they're made out to be. And I'm not anti-American by any way, shape, or form. But they do get the rap for some of our stuff too. So that's kind of a scary. But to me, I would say, why can't we make the drugs in the United States? It would be easier to find the drug and say, okay, here it is. It's got lot number, blah, 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 blah. We can find it. How much is it? Get rid of it and get some of the other stuff going. But the pharmaceutical companies won't do that, because we pay, I don't know what our minimum wage is. It's 10, 11, 12 bucks an hour. So that's a lot of money compared to 40 something cents an hour.
Ronnie McMullen's with us, folks. Ronnie McMullen from GetTheT.com, www.getTheT.com. You can pick up the phone and you can call Ronnie at 928-308-0408 if you want to get an order for some really healthy products to help you and really to complement you in your dieting. If you're watching your diet and you're trying to keep that blood sugar down without using metformin. I mean, Ronnie won't say this, but I'll tell you that Allison Advanced might be the best product out there on the market to help people. Certainly, it's at least it doesn't say contaminated.
That's for sure. And truth, herbs can be contaminated too. I don't want just the pharmaceutical companies to go down, but the fact of an herb being contaminated is so far less than a drug, because most herbs, it's just X amount of herbs. It's 2, 3 herbs, 1 herb. We're out right now of our takedown, which is great for normal blood sugar, helping with normal blood sugar. But it will be in probably within another couple of weeks, and it works really well. Apple cider vinegar works really good, or apple cider plus works really well for lots of things. If you're talking about diet, believe it or not, you take some apple cider vinegar and you can lose a little weight because it makes you not hungry.
I'll tell you something, folks. You might say, well, these are just old remedies, apple cider vinegar. I promise you, you take this apple cider vinegar, you get a sore throat or something, it just zaps it, okay? It just zaps it, doesn't mess around. And like silver, you know, we know that nano silver's always been a great product for fighting off bacteria and infections. Let me ask you a question, Ronnie. I mean, the bees are important, and I see that that's one of your specials this week. You're running this month, the bee pollen and essential bees, and of course, getthetea.com, all of the tea. Buy 3 bags of tea, you get 1 free. But look at this, he's also got the bee plus, the bee pollen, the essential bees. Why is it so important?
Okay, so bee pollen is great for immunity, is great for, actually bee pollen, the list is so long. So it's really great for allergies. They don't know, the scientists can't get to the bottom of what's in bee pollen because they don't know. They can't find the bottom of bee pollen. There's stuff in there they can't identify, which tells you, and the bees are how we eat. In other words, when the last bee dies, we have 5 years as a population to live. So bees are our buddies. They're our friends. And you say, well, I don't like bees, they sting me. Actually, if you take an attitude that you're not worried about being stung, you'll find that the bee won't sting you. There's an emotional kick in there. So I'll just give you a little touch right there. So anyway, there is so much to the bee pollen, and this is how we eat our food. So there's all kinds of good things that's coming from food and being done and digested and whatever it is that the bees do, and bring us something very good, something very good for us. The bees, essential bees, is like a bee complex, and really good for our emotional state, for our nerves. So it's good for cardiovascular, it's good for lots of good stuff, but kind of centers on nervousness in our nervous system. The autonomic nervous system is important to take care of. It kind of gets you in the fight or flight if you don't take care of it, and you don't want to be there. So the essential bees are kind of calmer for your nervous system. And of course, then there's all kinds of other things, allergies and immunities and all that stuff that really helps as well. And then of course the tea, we know that tea is all about your gut and getting things moving. So that's the beauty.
And the fact that you're running a special right now where you get folks, if you buy 3, getthetea.com, if you get 3 of these tea, you get a 4th one free. Now, I love this tea. I'm going to just be honest with you. We drink it all the time. It helps our digestive system. It tastes great. That's number one reason why I like it. And I know what it's doing for me physically, but boy, it tastes great. I like it as iced tea. Heidi likes it as hot tea. You can go either way with it, with a little honey and a little lemon. So, I mean, you really thought this one out when you put this together with your ingredients of the tea, Ronnie.
Yeah, it's kind of, well, that's the number one product we sell. And people that go, oh, I don't like bitter tea, just know that my tea's not bitter. So you drink it cold, you brew it hot, and you can drink it brewed and hot, but it'll zap you harder. It works more when it's warm, but we usually put it in the fridge and have a couple 8-ounce glasses a day, and life is good. And again, just so you know, when you're worried and stressed, your gut slows way down and you'll get bloated and you're not feeling good, and you kind of, things get stopped up a little bit. And the tea is a wonderful thing to get things moving again. It's kind of like the park police going down there and saying, hey, let's go, let's get this moving. And it's a gentle move and not a scary move. So it's great products. And usually you'll see all my specials carry tea one way or another. And that's because it's so important to have the tea.
Ronnie, also, and we're talking about America's national health emergency, premiums ever since the Affordable Care Act went in, it become now the Unaffordable Care Act. We got more people now. People can't even get on. There's no such thing. The insurance companies took advantage of this and said, okay, now that it's mandatory, we're gonna pick and choose what we want to cover. We don't care. It doesn't matter. And Can I ask you a question? Whenever when this is happening, whenever you're not able to go to the bathroom frequently and you get all messed up and bloated up, does it put a stress on the kidneys, the liver? I mean, do the other organs suffer because of this, or is that not connected?
The digestion system is like the motherboard of the computer. So when you get stopped up and you're not going to the bathroom right and you're feeling sluggish and so on and so forth, does your organs suffer? Yes, even to a point of your heart. So it is very important that everything moves. And if it's moving too quickly, and you're suffering from the D word, then again, the tea is still well. People think, oh, I better not take the tea because I've got diarrhea. Well, no, it actually helps with diarrhea because it gets rid of, obviously you have diarrhea for a reason, and it gets and cleans that reason. So it's good for both points. I think out of all the products, tea's up there in the top 2 or 3. Allison Advance is way up there too because of immunities and different things that it does. Garlic is just massively good for us, and that pill, it carries about equal to 35 cloves in one pill. So, and you don't smell like garlic. It doesn't leak out your pores. So the products are good, but the tea, in this time era with everything going on, and you got to realize too, if let's say somebody has an earthquake and water becomes a problem because lines are broken and so you get bad water, the tea will help with that too. So there's no end. People stock up. Oh, I'm going to get gold and silver, and I have nothing against gold and silver, but I'll just put it this way. If somebody said, would you rather have a wheelbarrow full of supplements or a wheelbarrow full of gold and silver? I'd say supplements any day because that's what keeps you alive. Gold and silver doesn't.
RonnieMcMullen.com. This is Ronnie McMullen at GetTheTea.com. GetTheTea.com. And you can also call in an order. Brock, put that phone number right on the screen there for people as well so they can pick up the phone and call. I mean, it's easy to go to his website and place the order. That will really, really help you. There's the number on the screen, 928-308-0408. That's 928-308-0408 if you want to call in an order, or just go to his website, and he's running this great specials, or you can just continue to wait to find out they ever get the contamination out of the metformin. But I think that if you can get a hold of bee pollen or the essential bees, or if you can get the tea or some of the other products he has, I think you'll find yourself will be feeling better. Part of the problem we got, Ronnie, though, is the food is poisoned, Ronnie. And just yesterday, now we could not hardly find any meat in the butcher at Meijer in West Lafayette, but they're stacking up the Spam. They're putting Spam. There's huge end caps now, Spam everywhere. And we had heard from Mike around the world that this was going to be the alternative. The shift was going to go on. Meat was going to go sky high, and Spam is going to become the second option. Do you know anything about Spam? What's in Spam?
Yeah, Spam is scary. I think it was originated in Nebraska, and I'll call it mystery meat. How's that? It's mystery meat. It's everything they don't want goes in the can. So that's fine. I'm not trying to dog Spam. If you like Spam, that's a great thing, but I do not. And just so you know, coming from a health perspective, if you don't eat a lot of beef, I know lots of you love beef, but if you don't eat a lot of beef, you'll actually start feeling better. So I know that's a terrible thing to say for the beef eaters. I do love beef, so I'm not here to slap you down. But I have limited my beef to once or twice a week. And when I go over that and I go to 3 or 4 times a week, I just feel sluggish and feel terrible. And chicken is good. Turkey's good. Fish is good. And I think this is kind of, I mean, there's mercury in fish. We understand that. But I also wonder if it's some kind of troll parrot that's going, oh, there's so much mercury in the fish, because then people don't eat the fish. And if you don't eat the fish, then you don't feel good about your body. I mean, in other words, fish is really good for your body. So why are they limiting us on things that are good for our body? And a little beef, not everybody, I'm not vegetarian or anything like that, but limiting your beef is a smart thing, but completely killing it is maybe not a smart thing, because there's a lot of protein in beef and there's a lot of good things in beef. So you got to know your balance, and you got to know who you are. And if you have beef, I would tell you take a walk, because it takes a long time, sometimes up to 72 hours to digest beef. So if you're going to eat beef and you like it, that's great. Go take a walk, and that'll help you.
Ronnie, what about the bacon craze across America? I mean, and pork, that's a major issue for health, but I've seen people now you can get bacon on ice cream. Do you see that as like the nuclear bomb of...
Yes, it's a tragedy. And, it's like deep frying a Twinkie. You go, really? I mean, the Twinkie was bad enough on its own. So, and I don't know who does this, or what do they do? They dip a stick of butter. And I'm like, Julia Childs used to love butter, and that's great. I do too, but not on a stick deep fried. That's something wrong with that one. So yeah, they're making foods that are not good for us, and of course, then the whole GMO. Here's the thing about not to go back to beef again, but most of your beef that's sitting in the store, okay, is corn-fed. So corn is the number one crop for the GMOs. So you see what I'm saying? Because here the crop goes, then the cow eats the corn, and so now the corn, which is GMO, which is a different species, in the cow, they cut the cow up and you eat that. So it's kind of like scary. If you're getting grass-fed beef and it's from somebody then that's a whole different ballgame. It's still not good to eat tons of beef, but then that beef is not bad at all.
Ronnie, they're also saying with the recall on Metformin that they're concerned over cancer concerns, okay? But they won't tell us what the contamination is that would be bringing about cancer concerns. So how do I
take that?
Yeah.
Fear. They're not telling you maybe they're going to say something, this could cause cancer, this whatever's in the metformin that's being recalled, that could be. But anymore, Pastor, everything is causing cancer. I mean, quite honestly, just living not a good life can cause you cancer.
What about air you breathe? I mean, what about chemtrails? I mean, do you think that's the...
Geez. We're having a national emergency, and we talk about all these issues, and we still are, I think our government's completely ignorant that there's chemtrails. In other words, they know there's chemtrails. They know, and I don't like to call it that, geoengineering, climate change. Well, yeah, of course, you're going to put a bunch of aluminum particles and everything else inside the air. It's going to change the weather, and there's going to be a climate change. It's going to heat up, it's going to cool down, it's going to move clouds, we can go on. So this is very sickening, because strontium, barium, and aluminum gets in your body. It's nanoparticles, and they get into your body, and they change your body from the inside out. It's just like GMOs. So this is not good, and nobody's paying attention to it. And just so you know, those nanoparticles are going in our water supplies, which are going, if you say, oh, I have well water, it's going right into that too, because somewhere, some way, it got onto that water and moved it right through. So we're in a place where, like I said, back to the bees. The bees are so important right now because they're working hard. And Monsanto, which is now Bayer, they want to make sure that we don't have any bees, that we have just mechanical bees, which they made. So if we have no bees, then they control the food supply. And right now, the bees controls the food supply. So bees are our friends, and what they have to offer is really, really wonderful for us. And, we just need to pray, literally pray, put our energy against the chemtrails, against the poisoning of our air, our water, and it's getting into our children. It's terrible.
Folks, Ronnie McMullen's here today. Ronnie McMullen from GetTheT.com. That's www.gettheT.com. Running monthly specials. Brock puts them on the screen for you again. The bee pollen. He's just talking about the bees. The bees are dying in massive numbers every year. We're decline. It's because of the genetically modified organisms, the food that's been so manipulated, the drugs have been so manipulated. It's just weird to me that the Food and Drug Administration is in the same administration. I can't deal with that. And get the tea. If you buy 3 packs of tea, you get 1 free. We got to flush it out. We got to try to pick and choose and eat as organic as possible. Coronavirus is out there. They're talking about a second wave or a rebound, or Ronnie, they say this thing is mutated 614 times. I understand that's impossible for a real virus. Is this a bioweapon?
Yeah, I kind of think it is. I mean, is it? No one really knows, but I would say yes. And the Chinese got blamed, and again, I'm not backing China. They've got their own set of problems, but the Chinese are being blamed for a shop set up there by, I call it a shop, but a lab that's set up by Fauci and his organization. So was that public knowledge that we knew there was a lab in Wuhan that Fauci he run that lab is over the lab? Is that public knowledge? No. So it's interesting how China gets blamed, but wait a second, Fauci picked a lab. Why didn't he obviously there's Fort Detrick, but why didn't he just put his lab in America? Why did he put it in China? Same thing, because they can do dastardly deeds in China and there's nobody overseeing them, where in America it'd be a harder task.
It's incredible that Dr. Fauci was involved, and it was along with Microsoft, I should say, or one of the subsidiaries. Bill Gates, his organizations. And then, of course, the Wuhan lab. Also, they were all tied in with the World Health Organization, and they delayed letting people know about the real seriousness problem of this, as Secretary of State Mike Pompeo calls it, the Wu flu, as he's throwing coffee cups off the wall and breaking it because he wants to tell the world. I mean, this is really weird. I mean, why is Fauci so...
Money. It's all about money. And you know what's really sad? Here's what's really sad. Senator Jensen is getting beat up huge. They're going after his license because he's basically said, look, this thing is no bigger than a normal influenza flu. And he had statistics. He didn't just go off with the mouth and talk about it. He had statistics. He had papers. So now he's got to defend his medical license. And I think that is a travesty. And here's a senator that cares about truth, and if you care about truth, you're censored, you're taken off, you're taken, and here's the thing, is people say, oh, well, wearing masks is great, or wearing masks is not great, or whatever their cases may be. Okay, for me, I look at the fact of, are you being censored to wear a mask? So in other words, if you say don't wear a mask, will they pull that video down? And if they do, what is that telling you? What is that telling you about freedom of speech? Freedom of speech is gone. It is completely gone. So we're in a bad, if freedom of speech is gone, we're in a bad way.
You're exactly right. Because if you lose your voice, you have no choice. And that's just the bottom line. I think I coined that one. But if you lose your voice, guys, you have no choice. We're in the end times. And with that mask, it seems like they take away your voice. By the way, the mask everybody's wearing are no good. Okay.
And let's not forget about the governor of California that said we cannot sing in church. I love that one.
Oh, yeah, thank you for bringing that up. Now we can't sing in church in California. And today, Canada just announced that no more communion can be done because they said they're afraid that they'll pass the virus with the wafer and the
I mean, to me, that's just, Newsom's just picking a fight. That's all he's doing. He's picking a fight. He's going, he's Pelosi's little boy, and he's just picking a fight. And so I sit here and I go, really? You can't sing? It's against the law, or it's against the whatever you want to call it. It's not really a law yet, to not sing. He just gave himself, he obviously doesn't believe in any kind of creator whatsoever. And he's picking a fight, just like they're picking the fights with all the racism and everything else. And, racism is put out by government, and we see that right now. Is it racist not to sing? I don't know.
Can't sing in church is just unbelievable. It's unfathomable for me to think that an elected official, a governor of one of the largest states in the country, would say, stop singing in church. Yet never said one thing about stop protesting in the streets. I can't figure this out. Ronnie, I'm sorry, but I can't figure this one out. We're not idiots. Stop the stinking thinking. We're not idiots, are we?
Well, they're protesting. You don't see 6-foot distancing. You don't see masks. You don't see everything but that's okay. And what's funny is all the Democratic states, governors, mayors, that's okay. Oh, that's okay. That's okay. But if you're out over here and you're going to eat a hamburger, we want you to wear a mask. Well, I can't bite onto the hamburger if I have my mask on. We don't care. Figure it out. I mean, this is how bad it's getting.
Probably have to get some supplements, guys, because it's going to be tough to get anything to eat. So while you're frying your green eggs and ham, or Spam, excuse me. Sorry.
Here's something, too, real quick, and this is not to sell more product. It really isn't. We've had a hard time getting our manufacturers to produce product. There's a lot of shortages out there. So when I have something, you might want to get it. And you might want to get two, or whatever. I mean, I'm not telling you what to buy. But I'm just telling you, I mean, we're starting to sell tea like year supplies. And because what if we don't have it in 6 months, Because there's shortages and stoppages and, just like the beef, all of a sudden limit to 2. And I don't want to put limits on my product. People need the product. But on the same token, it's scary times. We don't know the future.
Right. I mean, you may have a difficult time getting the tea itself to be able to put together so you can make it. So guys, go right now. Matter of fact, he's running a great special. Get 3 of these packets of tea, get a 4th one for free. He's running the special all month. I highly recommend you do that. If not, get more. And again, running the special on the essential Bs, get it all. Allison will help you, especially if you got this problem. I'm not telling you folks to not take your Metformin. I'm not telling you that. I'm telling you, I'm just making aware to you that they're announcing that it's contaminated and they want you to keep taking it, but call your doctor immediately. So to me, it's weird, but I understand, figure this out, okay? Ronnie McMullen with GetTheTea.com, www.getthetea.com, or pick up the phone and call in your order if you'd like to do it that way. Either way, get your order in today, and the number there is 928-227-8753. Is that a different number, Brock? Okay.
Yeah, that's the wrong number. It's 928-308-0408.
That's what I thought. So I don't know how that one slipped in there. All right, pick up the phone, make that call, or go to his website, get it right now. Ronnie, appreciate you helping us, because I tell you, we are in a national emergency, and so we got to start thinking outside the box by going back to the basics, back to the herbs, back to the nutrients that God gave us before we messed up. We were told in the creation, in Genesis, don't mingle the seed. We were told not to do it, and that's what we're doing.
Genesis also says herbs were created before man.
Yes, it was. Exactly.
So that tells you, I think herbs are a little important on God's list.
Yeah, and he got it. It's in the first page. Okay, so I think it's kind of high on the list.
It's high on the list.
Ronnie, thank you so much for being with us. Great. I'm glad you're here once again. Thank you for being a good friend of our ministry at www.getthetea.com. Thank you, Ronnie, for being with us.
Thank you so much.
Folks, we'll see you next time right here. Okay, don't leave. I got more to come.